Welcome back to The Remote Life. My name is Han Talbot, also known as Hammett's World, and today we'll be chatting with Stéphane Gombauld. A tax technologist and digital nomad, Stéphane is co-founder and CEO of Heavnn, which offers global tax setups for digital nomads and remote-first teams. In this episode, we talk about Heavnn and how it helps digital nomads with their taxes, things to be aware of as digital nomad about taxes, and how being in control of the nitty-gritty can contribute to the freedom of being a digital nomad. So grab a coffee, a tea, or something stronger, and let's get started. Amazing. So we're live on the Remote Life podcast. Stéphane, how are you?
Hey, Han, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good, thank you. It feels like forever since we saw each other at Bansko Nomad Fest. How did you find it?
So it was a pretty good experience. I This was my first time attending Ben's Nomad Fest, both as a participant, but also presenting a little bit the tax topic. Yeah, it was pretty good, especially as it wasn't planned at the beginning. I was talking with my very dear friend Dean, who told me that this is an amazing event. You should participate, and everything got organized at the last minute, just arrived in Bensko a day before. And yeah, it was a fantastic experience. I'm still there, by the way, in Bensko. So yeah, definitely not regret this decision.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of people are still in Bansko, so that was obviously a popular destination. Yeah, what have you been up to? Like, how have you found being there?
Pretty great. Thanks to Matthias from co-working Bensko. There is just an amazing community there. I wasn't expecting that. I left Lisbon thinking that yeah, it's just for the Nomad Fest, but this is actually where things are happening in Lisbon, and I was surprised to find such a dense, diverse, and active community of digital nomads. Yeah, and that's why I stayed there, because we make new encounters every day. There's a good dynamic, good synergies. Yeah, definitely a nice surprise. And I kept extending my stay for 2 more weeks, 2 other weeks. And but yeah, at some point I'd like to leave, but it's yeah, an amazing experience so far.
Yeah, so tell us a bit more. So are you based in Lisbon then, or like tell us a bit more about your remote life journey and like what brings you up to where you are today?
So actually, no, I'm not based in Lisbon. At the moment, I'm not based anywhere. I'm fully digital nomad. Even if I used to call myself more a location independent than a digital nomad, but this year it happens that I'm traveling around. So before, basically at the beginning of the year, I was in Germany, in Berlin. Then I moved to Croatia for a bit, Lisbon, now Bensko, and I will keep traveling. Our next meeting is in Albania, afterwards Greece, then South Africa. So I will be I think for the next 2 years, I will keep traveling around. And before, at some point, just decide of a multiple basis. My preferred setup would be to have 2, 3 bases. Let's say one in America, in the US, another one somewhere in Europe, and in the Caribbean where I'm from. But it will be, yeah, in 2 years. For now, I have a travel plan for the next month and even the next year. Yeah, so no fixed base at the moment.
Cool. Yeah. So, how do you plan? Because I feel like a lot of people have different ways of doing this. So, how do you tend to plan your travels then?
In terms of planning, you mean from a material perspective, or from in terms of destinations that I'm going to visit?
Yeah, so destination. So you said you had a travel plan. Like, how do you plan your travels? Because I feel like for me, I'm like, I roughly want to end up here at some point. I roughly want to end up here, or la la la. Whereas it sounds like you've got a really good concrete plan.
Yes. So the funny part of this is that I always have two plans. I have the plan that I have that I prepared for myself. So this is mainly based on countries that I want to visit, versus countries where we can also we're invited to talk, because I'm the CEO of Heavnn, so the global tax optimization platform for nomads. So it's the initial plan is a little bit of both countries that I want to visit, but also invitations to talk for workshops or etc. But the other part, the second plan that I have is always based on opportunities and encounters and synergies. Most of the time, I don't respect my initial plan. For example, the Albania part came after because I met interesting people who told me you should go there one more time, and I absolutely want to discover this country, so I decided to add it to the plan. And it's always like this. Once I encounter nomads, there are so many interesting discussions, exchange of information, synergies that my plan evolved each destination that I visit. So this is the funny part of it. I know that the plan that I presented a few minutes ago will probably change in Albania because I will make new encounters and probably find better destinations or adjust my plans. But I always have an initial plan that I plan to follow, knowing that it's probably going to change as I'm a flexible person. I also like to go with the flow. Yeah, this is I always work with those two plans: the planned in advance and the actual one based on opportunities.
Cool. Yeah. So tell us more about Heaven and how it came to be.
Oh yes, so basically Heavnn. So as I explained, I'm a co-founder and CEO at Heavnn. Heavnn is a platform designed for location-dependent workers and remote teams, distributed teams. What we do is that we provide global remote setups and tax optimization. Global remote setup is to basically we used to say unlocking your location dependent superpowers. That means that being able to work to legally work from anywhere with a setup that is adapted to your specific situation as a location dependent. This is the first part, and the second part is to leverage this location dependent status to optimize your taxes. On average, we find 60% less taxes to for our clients using this combination of global remote setup and the tax expertise that we have thanks to our platform and our team. Yeah, but this is those are plans that are individualized for each the digital nomad according to their personal situation, financial situation, and travel needs and preferences.
Cool. Yeah. So taxes, that's a fun conversation as we sort of briefly talked about before we got on the podcast. But I feel like it's something that when I speak to people who are, well, both in as a digital nomad, but also people who are looking to get into the lifestyle, the topic of taxes kind of tends to terrify people a little bit, which I feel like, I mean, yeah, you'll probably agree. It's not. It's actually once you kind of have more of an understanding of like how to go about it, it actually is it's just another bit of admin, right? Or would you say differently? Like what do you think people need to know both as new and current digital nomads about their taxes?
So actually, yes, indeed, that's a good question because there are a lot of myths about taxation, fears as well, and this is definitely a topic to know or to be aware of before starting to travel,
Mm.
so that you can first organize your situation the proper way, and second, avoid to trigger some tax risk in some countries. We see different reactions, or where there are mainly nomads that unfortunately travel without planning their taxes, so they end up paying a lot of taxes. It can be in their home country because they didn't manage to organize their taxes, so they pay a huge amount of taxes in country that they are not even really resident in anymore because they didn't organize this. Or even the most actually the most difficult part from what we see is to have the right setup. At the moment, I had a talk about that 2 days ago. Actually, at the moment, many digital nomads just take their laptop and start working from anywhere before they can. This had no consequences until today because something that many people don't know is that the states themselves, through the OECD, but also by themselves as an individual initiative, decided not to go after remote worker or remote workers or digital nomads wherever they are because of the COVID situation, thinking that okay, maybe we can have some kind of tolerance during this time, but this may this may change in the future, definitely. So there is a need. If I was to summarize the tax topic for digital nomads, the most important part is to plan it in advance. As you said, this is a bit of administration, but it's also a financial strategy to implement, as the fact that someone travels or location dependent has the possibility to travel and to be anywhere. That also means a host of opportunities in terms of how can I reduce my taxation, optimize my taxation, and therefore optimize my finances. So this is a topic that needs to be tackled. Unfortunately, we still see many nomads ignoring the topic or knowing that there is something important to do. There is something to do there, but not taking action yet. Yeah, but indeed, this is not a topic to be feel. It's just a topic to be taken care of before starting to travel.
Absolutely, yeah. Is there like a place that people can go to find this sort of stuff out? Because of course, I think that's what makes people worried is the fact that obviously you meet so many awesome people around the world who have to think about different things because their different countries have different rules that you have to consider first. What would be, obviously apart from Heavnn, like is there one place that they should check out for themselves also so that they're in the know?
That's a good question. So, because at the moment we're producing content on our blogs, or this is why we're also participating in podcasts, doing talks, because there is a lack of information about many aspects of the tax question. I was explaining a few days ago the myth around the perpetual traveler, what people think versus the reality. So there is a real work to do in terms of just information, knowing what needs to be done, what are things that are just myth stories, but that are not happening in reality in terms of taxes. And once we have this basic level of understanding on what this it is to pay taxes as a digital nomad, managing your taxes as a digital nomad, then a location dependent can start taking action for her taxes. What does it mean taking action? Taking action in general, that means that you should plan your taxes, which means that you need to first being able to make a diagnostic, an analysis of your digital nomad journey and how you would be taxed depending on the scenario. So it's the first part to understand and plan in advance your taxation. The second part is to actually implement this strategy and take actions to set your plan in motion. At the moment before Heavnn, because of course, if we created these companies, is because we have an added value. Before our platform, what you needed to do was to contact tax advisors in various countries, because in different countries, the countries of interest or just countries for which you want to have a proper tax analysis. Why you need to contact different tax advisors? Because the tax advisors work on a country centric basis. Basically, they will advise you on a specific country, which can be great if you already know that you'll be in a specific country and you need help in this specific country, which can be a little bit more difficult if you're digital nomad traveling around the world and working from anywhere, because then you don't need a specific tax advisory in a specific country. You need a global approach to your case. So at Heavnn, what we do is that we provide this global approach. We help digital nomads by scanning the tax law and the law in general of different countries. We help the digital nomads to design their perfect setup according to their situation, and then to assess their level of taxation and implement their tax plan directly on our platform. This is the main differentiator compared to basically hiring multiple tax advisors in different countries.
Yeah, it's awesome. I think there's definitely a need for like having some kind of centralized system. It's awesome stuff that you guys are doing, and I think obviously that's obviously one of the lesser known parts and sides of the digital nomad lifestyle. That I think, yeah, it sounds like an amazing thing that you guys are doing. Just out of interest, how are you guys going about that? Who do you speak to, and how does that get moved? How does that conversation get moved forward?
You mean with the clients in general?
Does that involve who does that involve speaking to out of interest?
So basically, our process is, of course, to do that, we need to have a high level of knowledge about different countries, and each country has its tax system. So what we did is that we developed our own global taxation software that allows us to very quickly be able to scan the different tax laws and identify the specific tax breaks applicable to one's specific situation. So we work first with our internal tax intelligence, as we call it, our internal software to support the work of scanning the different tax laws and seeing exactly what will work in the specific case of our client or the user using our platform. This is the first part. The second part is that we still provide an internal expertise on top of this software. This software is basically designed to augment our capacities as tax experts. But on top of that, we'll also talk with the clients. We offer a digital interview online, but also just one-to-one preparation interviews to better understand the situation, the specific situation that we are treating, but also just to explain a little bit more in details what's going to happen for the client. So basically, we combined our software, providing a global taxation expertise and own internal expertise as tax experts.
That's really awesome. That's amazing. So basically, whether you are a current or new digital nomad, come and chat to you guys about taxes. Just on a side note, I saw you guys did a whole post on NFTs and taxes. I'm trying my best to understand how NFTs work, but how does NFTs come into the tax conversation, just out of interest?
You're talking about our own NFTs or NFTs in general?
Yeah, so I saw you guys did a post about being able to collect NFTs or put your taxes on NFTs. I'm such a newbie to this. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. So there are two topics in one. The first topic is the taxation of your NFTs, because when you're a digital nomad, if you're into Web3 2, you collect not only NFTs, but in general you work with cryptos. I'm talking with about digital nomads that are interested in Web3. So this is the first part. When I am a crypto trader, or I get paid with cryptocurrencies, or I have NFTs and I get revenues from my NFTs, how am I taxed? And this is a feature that we're currently working on at Heavnn that we call Crypto Heavnn, that will help digital nomads manage their Web3 questions related to taxes. Particularly, the article that you're talking about is related to our own NFTs, because at Heavnn, we also have NFTs. And what we were explaining basically in this article, this was written by my co-founder. What we were explaining is that with our premium NFT, that is basically on top of just giving you a very nice NFT, also give to its owner lifetime access to our platform. That means that once you own these NFTs, you can every year do your taxes with Heavnn free of charge. So basically, what we were explaining is that buying this NFT will finally make you earn money, because in any case, if you do the digital nomad thing correctly, you'll have to pay for your setup, to maintain your setup in different countries, but also pay to have your taxes done. So the goal of this article was also to explain what our own NFT will bring to the owner. So it wasn't directly related to the tax topic. It was more an explanation of the specific use of our NFTs, because we believe in NFTs. We believe this is a nice, how can I say, vehicle to create new offers, new perks for people that are into Web3, or maybe even help people to convert to Web3. And we were just talking about that in order to explain what are the benefits to be the owner of this NFT, that you can find on our website if piqued your curiosity.
Yeah, it's such a like broad topic. I feel like I'm trying my best to really get to grips with it because it's just a whole other world that I feel like is just going to suddenly take off. So that's very interesting to know for especially for anyone who is also NFT crypto savvy and looking to go to that too. So it's awesome you guys are thinking about that as well. Okay, we've talked about the nitty gritty. Let's take that back a little bit. Now, what does being a digital nomad mean to you?
It's a very interesting question. Actually, this is there are two answers. There are the answer that we have as Heaven and my personal view on it. At Heaven, from a professional perspective, because the qualification, the way we name things has an impact on the tax treatment behind it, the tax consequences, etc. So from the Heaven perspective, what we call a digital nomad is a category of location independent. And basically, this category is for people traveling, staying in one country between 2 weeks and 3 months. This is how we define digital nomads. Once we have someone staying more than 3 months in a location before moving to the next, so between 3 months and 6 months, we talk about a slow mad. And beyond 6 months, we start talking about expatriation. And even if we are between 6 months and 3 years, we are more we're talking about expatriates, the classical definition. And after 3 years, we consider that you are no longer an expatriate; you're an immigrant in the country that we are considering. Knowing when I'm saying that there is an eternal debate between the immigrant and the expat. What is an immigrant? What is an expat? This is all the definition as have. My own definition is a little bit more general, I would say. For me, being a digital nomad is basically have the possibility to work from anywhere, then because using remote work mainly. So a digital nomad is always a remote worker and a remote worker traveling around without a specific base. So because we see a scenario very often of people having a base and just going on workation in a destination. For us, we from my side, I think this is a different category than the digital nomad traveling all the time, and this is even why at the beginning I was saying that this year I'm a digital nomad, but my goal is not to be a digital nomad for that many years. Afterwards, I would prefer to be a location independent and have different bases, but still have somewhere to come back to at some point.
That's cool. Yeah. So why did you choose why is travel important to you?
That's a good question. Actually, the I was kind of forced to travel at the beginning because at the university I was studying international tax law, and for the final year of my master degree, the lectures were bilingual, so French and English. And at that time, my second language was Spanish, so I needed to improve my English. So I moved to the UK, and I stayed there for exactly the same phenomenon as banks go for me today. I was supposed to stay there 2 weeks, and I stayed there 3 months in Bournemouth.
Oh, no way.
And I discovered the power of synergies with people having completely different backgrounds, the cultural differences that sometimes can be, how can I say, not painful, but difficult to understand, and not always a bad experience, but was on the same time very bring a lot of value to the way I was seeing the world and the way I was the ideas that I had, the limitations, seeing that in some cultures something that for me was a limit was absolutely regular for them. So basically, this mix of ideas, this mix of backgrounds, just inspired me and changed all my projects after that. I ended up studying in Chicago after this time in Bournemouth, which wasn't planned at all. Yeah, so basically, this storm of ideas and synergies really was really something that got me at that time. And when I came back to my regular life as a location dependent person, having this every day of always with the same people, and at some point in an environment where everyone was kind of thinking the same with the same cultural background, I started to miss this. And this
Mm.
is how I decided to travel again, move to Germany, Switzerland, a little bit more in the US, and yeah, keep traveling all around the world. Also, another reason why I like traveling is also that I like to reinvent myself permanently, have new ideas, and not always stay stuck with one way of saying something. Even if I already thought about a problem or a concept, I like to be able to rethink it again and again with the new ideas, with new perspectives. And every time I change country, I have the feeling that I'm reinventing myself. I am seeing new stuff, even in terms of architecture. Just seeing new architectures, it gives you ideas in terms of design, in terms of what's possible, in terms of where I could live, what kind of accommodations I would like. So this is a constant flow of ideas, and this is what gets me the most about traveling. And this is why, yeah, I started being a nomad since 2016, and
Mm.
I keep going with the this, and not a nomad, a location independent, sometimes expat, sometimes nomad. But basically, yeah, I keep going with that because of the flow of ideas mainly.
That's really cool. What's one of your favorite, kind of personal discoveries that you found? Like, what was one of the more groundbreaking ones for you, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember something in particular. For an example that I can that I give often is when I travel to Germany.
Mm.
This is probably the yeah, very how can I say, a strong examples, but this happens on a daily basis. When I started to work in Germany, and I started to get in touch with German people and the German ecosystem in general, I noticed a particular relationship with work that was completely different from what I had before. I mean, with my background before having this confrontation, I was the kind of person working a lot with extensive hours, while also always, how can I say, debating stuff and always putting things in a new perspective, making sure that I am right about what I'm doing today. When I arrived in Germany, I discovered the fact that they limit their workday to a certain number of hours, and they really go beyond this number of hours. I discovered
Mhm.
the way their particular relationship with work that has to be limited in time, that has to be precise, and the fact that when they start with a particular plan, they stick with this plan from the beginning to the end. I'm not
Mm.
saying that this is the best approach because that sometimes can be very frustrating for people that have been in Germany. Probably they know what I'm talking about when you're in front of someone that has a plan, and doesn't matter how stupid the plan can be in this particular circumstances, they will stick with the plan. So that can be annoying sometimes, but that can also be freeing your mind from being always wondering what's next. You just know that you have a plan, and you do what you have to do, and you have more time to enjoy life and do something else. So I having those two different work culture helped me to shape my own way of working as a digital nomad. And this is an important topic to know, how do you bring together traveling and still being productive for at work in what you do. And those kind of confrontations really made me think, okay, this is good. I will take this part of limiting my number of hours and being super effective in a short amount of time, instead of reassuring myself, giving myself the impression that I work because I work until late at night. But on the same time, this is also, there are also some good things about rethinking the processes all the time or listening to feedback. So yeah, when I come back to your question about what did I take from traveling, this is a perfect example of how I confronted my background to the culture in a new country, and how you can co-create and basically make you a more complete person, if I can say this that way.
No, I definitely agree. I feel like, especially as people who have remote businesses and are freelancers, I feel like a lot of people tend to do a bit more sort of inner searching and kind of inner work on themselves, as it were, just to kind of figure. And yeah, I feel like people who are looking to get more from their local community and actually really experience the place they're in, I feel like they really do try to take things away from it in that way, for themselves, and like whether it's different perspectives, whether it's few new vocabulary words. I feel like people are always trying to learn something new, whether it's about themselves or whether it's about the culture. It's so true. It's really true. Yeah, I mean, yeah, from my perspective, I feel like some of the biggest things I've learned have been like from going away or just switching up my environment in different ways. I think that's why I'm such a champion of it, is that the just having that different, even like going to a different cafe, no matter where you are in the world, to work for the morning, and just, picking up on, I don't know, listening to a new playlist, for example, that's on in this particular cafe. I feel like you get so many different ideas from it, whether it's for yourself, for your business, whatever it looks like. So no, I completely agree. And I think that's amazing kind of perspective that you've got there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, that actually leads into very nicely into our last question. So fill in the blank. Home is where is.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I would say home is where my people are.
Cool.
Yes, because this is an interesting yeah, this is something that I realize more and more by being on the road as a nomad, is that yeah, actually a place can be beautiful on paper, having beautiful landscapes and even cost of living advantages, etc. But the people there are important. The encounters that I've made in different countries change the whole experience. So I would say that this is mainly to feel home. I think, and from my perspective, we need people that we interact with, and people that we feel a connection with. And it's not really about the place. This is why this is fantastic that we have more and more digital nomad communities developing, and that the community is that open minded, because yes, it helps to create this home feeling wherever we are, or at least in most of the places. But yeah, I would say people to fill the blank.
Nice. Yeah, no, that's literally why I talk about home is where my laptop is, and that's where, because I can then stay connected to people. Yeah, so I completely agree. I think people really are a big part of the digital nomad experience. So yeah, 100% agree.
I have your sticker on my laptop, so I hesitated to answer. I hesitated to answer that, but as you know it already, I also gave you another answer. But I totally agree with what is currently stated on my laptop.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, send me a photo. I need to put that on social media.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Well, Stefan, it's been amazing to chat. And obviously, yeah, everybody should go check out Heavnn. But yeah, thank you so much for being a guest, and hopefully we'll see each other in Tirana.
Thank you, Han, for having me. Yeah, for sure. Let's meet in Tirana. It's going to be an amazing experience, I think.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of The Remote Life. And thank you, Stefan, for taking time to speak with us. You can find links to Heavnn below. Thank you so much again for listening, and we can't wait to remote work with you again soon.